Welcome to the Ready to Bid podcast, presented by the Swicegood Group, Auctions and Real Estate. Each week, we spend just a few minutes to give you quick updates on current real estate and personal property auctions, and we talk about interesting topics. I'm your host, Kyle Swicegood, with my co-host today, Zach Johnson. Good morning, Zach.
Hey, good morning, Kyle. Before we start today, just wanted to go over just a few things on the website, ready2bid.com, ready to bid. We have multiple real estate auctions, multiple personal property auctions. We have a big equipment auction going on right now, our monthly equipment auction. And today's topic, U.S. Marshals listings. We have a couple of those live. So as this podcast is recorded, you navigate to the listings tab of the website and then the seized assets section under that.
You spend a lot of time dealing with Marshals property. So why don't you tell us the process?
Yeah, so the U.S. Marshals assets that we sell are directly for the interesting fact on the offer to purchase. It literally says the seller is the United States of America. So a lot of people get thrown off by that, but the process is a little bit different, but the end result is the same. It's a real estate transaction where the seller's the federal government, buyer is the public or whoever the buyers of the asset, and we just participate in the marketing and then the obviously transfer of ownership. And we'll get over that a little bit, but basically the question I often get is, why was the property seized? It's always going to be something criminal in nature. Now, whether that is, a civil case or a criminal case in federal court, someone did something illegal, and as a result, that asset was taken from them. Now, it could be the asset was used in the accomplishment of the crime. Think of a drug house. It could also be that the property was obtained with quote unquote dirty money or illegally obtained funds. In the legal world, they call that fruit of the poisonous tree. So since the money was obtained illegally, the asset purchased with that money is subject to forfeiture. So in a nutshell, that is what this asset forfeiture program is the federal government taking things that people obtained illegally or used illegally and selling those assets to either repay the debt to an entity or to repay the debt, I guess, to society.
And just to kind of describe to our listeners the small price point assets and the large price point assets. I mean, it's a range.
Yeah, everything from, I believe, I should have done some studying how long we've been selling these assets, but it's been decade plus. We've sold everything from a $5,000 tract of land up in Avery County, middle of nowhere, a subdivision that essentially failed, all the way to a almost $3.5 million horse farm in Raleigh, and everything in between. Everything from commercial assets. I think of the dentist office, or it was a general practice doctor in Bethlehem, North Carolina, seized everything of his. He was milking Medicaid, all the way to, like I said, your drug houses, your assets that probably just need to be bulldozed, but nonetheless they need to be sold.
What's the difference in a marshal's proposition from a buyer standpoint and a regular conventional real estate listing?
Okay, so to start with, everything that the marshals sell is as is, where is. We've all heard that before, but essentially they do allow the right to inspect. It's not like you have to, roll the dice like Storage Wars. What's in there? I don't know. It's a traditional listing in the sense that they set a list price. People are allowed to go look at it and make an offer. But the feds are saying, hey, basically, we're not going to fix anything. The roof's leaking. You offer it, make your offer as is, with everything you see. Now, on the flip side of that coin, they do allow an inspection period. Think of a normal due diligence period. Once you're under contract for 10 days, it's a free inspection period. So essentially, for 10 days, once you go under contract, you can have a roofing inspection done, a home inspection, septic. I mean, all the normal stuff. And if you find something that's a deal breaker, you're allowed to back out for any reason or no reason at all.
What does it take to get into contract? I mean, not just the contractual forms and documents, but is there a deposit required?
There is. And so let me start off first before I describe that process by saying typically there's a 21-day minimum marketing period. Essentially, the federal government wants to be fair to all potential buyers. So for the first 21 days, they will basically just sit on all offers. They will accept them and they'll say, thank you for your offer. We'll get back to you. At the end of the 21 days, they will look at all the offers they have, and typically they select one offer to move forward with. To answer your question, offers are, obviously purchase price they care about. They care about if it's cash or financed, and financing is not a disqualifier. I would almost say a majority of these U.S. Marshals assets are financed, so that's not a deal breaker. The earnest money amount, the minimum of 5% earnest money deposit, and that is non-refundable if you back out after that inspection period. But I say a minimum of 5%. They do consider the totality of the offer. It's not just, purchase price. It's not just timeline to close. More earnest money is, obviously always better, but offers also include your timeline to close, that inspection period length, and then really they want to know who the buyer is, because there are prohibited parties. If you are related to the defendant, or if you are working in concert with the defendant to get the property back, you would then be a prohibited party. If you work for the Department of Justice in any way, shape, or form, you could possibly be a prohibited party. You would need your supervisor to sign off to say that you didn't have any direct influence on this case. Essentially, they don't want the U.S. Marshal or the prosecutor that put the person in prison to be the one that buys the house. That's sure. Bad optics. Sure. But outside of that, once they agree to go under contract, we prepare all those documents. We send them to the buyer for execution. The seller then signs them as well, and we're under contract. And typically they're wanting to close in 30 to 45 days. So
who holds the deposit?
So it will always be the U.S. Marshals escrow agent or attorney. Same with closing. There's only a handful of attorneys nationwide that close the seized assets. As you can imagine, anytime real property is seized from an individual, there's a lot of paperwork. Mm-hmm. Therefore, these specific attorneys that have a history and have a demonstrated capacity to handle these assets are the ones that close them. So it's not like a traditional closing where you get, Tim Smith, the attorney down the road that normally does your real estate. You have to use their attorney. But all assets are, unless otherwise specified, few and far between, all assets are sold with a special warranty deed, free of any liens or encumbrances, with clear title. So essentially, other than the fact you're buying from the federal government, it's a typical real estate transaction process. Some of the properties are move-in ready. They're amazing. Some of them are, have been vacant for 2 or 3 years while the court case has been adjudicated, and we walk in and they're rough. But again, you'll always know the condition because, again, we have open houses. We allow agents to show the property to their buyers. We're an open book. We want people to feel comfortable when buying these assets.
I've had agents ask before, what's this LOI stuff?
Yeah, so LOI just stands for letter of intent. Essentially, there's a few extra documents when you buy a U.S. Marshals asset. I mentioned the prohibited parties. There is a document that you have to sign that basically says, hey, I'm not related to the defendant trying to get the house back. You have to complete what they call a forfeited property sheet. It wants to know your name. It's all government forms that you have to fill out, just basic info, but it's not part of a normal real estate transaction in the conventional world. And where I'm going with all that is, so agents don't have to sift through all these forms that they've never filled out before. And so an agent isn't 100% necessary. If If John Doe wants to just submit an offer on his own behalf without getting a real estate broker involved, that LOI is all he needs to fill out. It's a 2-page document that basically says, here's my name, here's the purchase price, earnest money amount, timeline to close. It's very simple questions. He signs it, and that is submitted to the federal government. And once they approve one of those offers, that's when I personally or you will prepare the contract package with all 37 pages. It's a big package. And we prepare that completely and send it to the buyer for signatures.
I want to go back. You said special warranty deed. I think we do need to mention that occasionally there's a quick claim deed.
Yep.
And when we articulate that there's a quick claim deed, that's really when the buyer needs to possibly do title work to make sure there are no liens and encumbrances against the property, because we're selling it quit claim.
Yep.
Why don't you explain real quickly what quit claim deed means?
So yeah, basically to answer the first part of that, the quit claim deed process is typically used with Marshall's assets on any asset that has a sales price under $50,000. Think of those drug houses that are just, they need to be torn down. Think of manufactured homes that are in disrepair. Basically, the quit claim deed process is the Fed saying, hey, we're selling it as is, just like all of our other assets, but we're not making any promises as to title on this specific asset. They typically will always do a preliminary title search before they seize the property. So we'll know if there's liens or encumbrances at the time of seizure, but it's on the buyer to do their own due diligence. These are very unique assets. We will always disclose that. It's not going to be in the fine writing. We're going to lead off the description with attention, asset conveyed via quit claim deed, buyer beware, whatever it may be. In the decade plus that we've sold assets for the Marshalls, I would say, Kyle, 5 to 10 at the most out of 400 assets or 500 we may be pushing. It's just not very common.
Yeah. Somebody wants to get more specific questions answered, how can they reach you?
Yeah, either myself or you. My name is Zach Johnson. Again, my contact info will be in the show notes, also on the website. Kyle, your cell phone's on the website too. We can both answer questions. This is something we eat, sleep, and breathe. And a lot of times real estate brokers may never deal with this ever in their career, just maybe one time. And they call me up or call you up and say, hey, what is this? It's something that we do every day. It's kind of a niche that we haven't carved it out, but it's we're in the trenches. And so if we can help in any way, shape, or form, answer any questions, definitely reach out. One other thing I will say is on all of our U.S. Marshals assets on the website, we have video tours, way more pictures than you can upload to the MLS. They cap you, typically 48 photos or depends on the MLS, but we'll try to have upwards of 75 to 100 pictures, video tours of every closet, every nook and cranny in the garage, just in case you can't make it to the property. But if you can, I would urge you to come out for an open house, schedule a private showing with you or me, or your real estate agent can also schedule a showing.
Very informative today. Thank you, Zach.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining us. If you have any questions about the auction method or any real estate issues we may be able to help with, again, our contact is in the show notes. Feel free to reach out. As always, thanks for joining us and hope to see you next time.
See you next time.